What's up, guys? It's Fortino, my first YouTube channel. Um, Basically, this is the start of, I think, something pretty dope, as long as we stick with it. Nothing crazy for this first YouTube video. Basically, the very first video I wanted to do is kind of react to this video that I really like from Alex Hormozi. He talks about a lot about wealth and money, and he's also very young. That's why I like watching him. He's a little more modern than these other people. They have a lot of good ideas, but it's very, you watch Alex Hormozi and you can kind of instantly think of ideas to apply to your own business, versus other people have these like theoretical, like, oh, well, this is how it should work. And you're like, okay, that makes sense, but how do I apply it to my business? So, Alex Hormozi is a GOAT. If he ever gets to see this, that's great. And yeah, like I said, we're about to react to his video that he made a while back, talking about, once you watch the video, you'll kind of see why I'm doing this in the first place. So let's get to it.
Conor McGregor came on top for 12. Boom, it was a $600 million deal. And The Rock had Terramana Tequila, which is now worth like $4 billion. Kylie made the front of Forbes as a billionaire, and she was 20. Mr. Beast, he will be a billionaire. Right now, the entire economy has shifted. The last century was a century about power. And when I say power, I mean like energy. The wealthiest individuals of the last century were built on oil. The biggest companies were all energy companies. Fast forward today, 4 out of the top 5 biggest companies in the world are not built on the old oil, but the new oil. And the oil of today is attention.
Rise in teens on TikTok.
The thing that is being pumped and drilled every day is the attention of the masses. You have 24 hours a day that your ears are open. You have 24 hours a day that your eyes are open. And so the idea is, how can we capture as many of those hours from as many people as possible, and the war for our minds?
For me, the stuff is all about like helping people connect.
The total amount of
It's funny because it's almost like they're doing this for a very selfish reason, but at the same time, I mean, it's business, right? It's supposed to make money. How can you make more money? How can, investors, how can we benefit them the most, right? So it's kind of crazy how it's almost the morality, the line of morality kind of gets blurred, as in, is this the right thing to do? Should we just try to bombard people with, if TikTok, it's very addicting. I delete it here and there. I delete a lot of my social media here and there. Just the apps themselves, just because it's very, I would think I have a good head on my shoulders, but I always catch myself just being on these apps, and I don't want to say I can't stop being on it, but it's just too much time. I just waste too much time on them. But this is why, instead of consuming content, now we want to create it, right? And drinking a LaCroix, because sparkling water is really good. Also, shout out Dennis Rodman. Back to the video.
that exists is every human's eyes and ears collectively 24 hours a day. That is the pie, and they're fighting for it. People who are creating the platforms that other companies can come and drill, they're basically the digital landscape. They envelope the world. They're literally buying up the real estate of the collective attention that exists.
Alex Hormozi is really smart. He's really, really, really smart, and it's going to become more and more apparent the further we get through the video.
Oil tycoons had to go and buy a state, negotiate, haggle with the farmer to get his things. The new world today, they don't need to haggle with anyone. They just take it. Scarce resources are the things that are the most valuable. And so oil was the scarce resource. And now attention is the scarce resource. And so that's why attention is the new oil. A friend of mine, Ryan Fisher, just showed me a clip on his phone of a podcast that I did with him. And this is when I wasn't really, actually, I didn't do any podcasts. I wasn't doing any speaking stuff. Like, all I was doing was building Jim Launch Prestige Labs. I was like, screw content, just run ads. I don't want to be known. I want to be rich and unknown. It's funny because he was like, and now you're not doing that. I was very against it. And then what happened, Kylie made the front of Forbes as a billionaire, and she was 20. And at the time, I was 27, and I think I had taken home 17 million in income the year before. I was on pace to do like 13 to 15 that next year in terms of take home. And I thought like I was hot shit. And then this girl, who's 7 years younger than me, fucking crushes me in net worth. And I was like, wow. And so it was just this huge belief shift for me where I was like, what am I doing wrong? My ego felt hurt, so I started protecting myself, and I was like, oh no, Kris Jenner's her mom, she's an absolute gangster, she was born into this royalty, it's not that she did it, it was someone else, and blah, blah, blah. Ego protected, I feel okay now. And then Huda Beauty sold a percentage of her thing for $600 million at the time.
I don't know who
It's
that
over
is,
$1 billion today.
but shout
Conor
out to her.
McGregor came out with Proper 12, and 12 months later,
Conor's
boom, it was
dope.
a $600 million deal.
Roswell!
And then The Rock had Terramana Tequila, which is now worth like $4 billion. Just kept seeing this again and again and again, to the point where
So guys, understand, this guy was a straight up business guy, right? He, I think, 27 years old, he made $17 million take home. And then these people like Kylie, she was what, 24 at the time? She's making $1 billion. She made $1 billion. She's worth $1 billion. So keep that in mind that this is as helpful, or this whole process that we're doing here by even making this video is basically this is better than a business. This is almost as better than making a business. And Alex is gonna explain that a little bit better than I could ever, but that is why we're here.
it's like I believe something that's not true. And so I talk about how skills, beliefs, character traits are the three things that hold back entrepreneurs. And this one for me was something that I believed about the world, and I was functioning as though, and it was not. I always try and find those things because they construct our reality, and we make our decisions based on the things that we believe to be true. And so I basically was walking through a reality that was not real. I then read a book by Naval Ravikant, which is his Almanac, which is really good, really.
I follow this guy on Twitter. He has a bunch of dope tweets. If you follow me on Twitter, I've been trying to tweet more for the same reason I'm making these videos, is to kind of I guess I'll just wait for them the video to kind of explain a little bit more once you know what I'm talking about.
And you talked about the 4 types of leverage in the book. Leverage is the difference between what you put in and what you get out. The people who make the most money are the ones who have the most leverage, because everybody has the same amount of time. It's just who gets the most back for their time. And compounding is that now that you've made that trade with your leverage, is it going to compound unto itself and get you even more back? Because compounding is a form of leverage. And you've got labor, you get other people to do stuff for you, which means you get more of your time back and you get output. Above that, you've got capital. So people give you money, you invest the money that other people give you, and you get leverage by extension. The last 2 levels are code, so you got software, and media. So if you think about this, you make a piece of code and then 10 million people can use it, that's leverage. You put one-time investment, you get infinite on the other side. With media, it's the same way. If I take however much time it takes me to make this video, one person, 1 million people, 100 million people can see this video, which is what gives it leverage. And when I saw that, that was what made everything click for me as to why these people were giving these crazy numbers when they had, like, I had heard Kylie had a team of 7 and she was doing 200 million a year. I was like, team of 7, and it was because she had a compounding leverage vehicle built within her business. And that was when I looked at my own businesses at the time and realized I had nothing that compounded, nothing. I almost became dissatisfied with the business that I had because I realized that whatever I wanted to do next, I wanted to have.
Compounding is it's a very one of the best things. There was a quote that was like, "Oh, the 8th wonder in the world is the compounding effect." Basically, and he's gonna explain it again a little later, but over time, we already consume content as people, right? We're normal human beings. We like to watch whatever the fuck, and but we're not compounding anything on top of that by just being a consumer. So we have to create content, and this is my first video, right? So it's my hand's super close to the thing. So it's not gonna be good. That's fine. The first video, no one's gonna watch it. I don't fucking care. But once we have 100 videos up, the audience is hopefully gonna keep, getting bigger, and that's kind of the whole goal. So right now, quality, it's not that important for me. We'll get to it, but this is my first video, and eventually it should be paid off.
A compounding vehicle, something that multiplies unto itself over and over again. So Warren Buffett could build Berkshire Hathaway because the money itself compounds and compounds and compounds. And on a long enough time horizon, when you keep rolling the snowball, after you do that for 40, 50 years, you have a big fucking snowball. You have to unlock one of those 4 types of leverage. And so when I looked at that pyramid, I was like, well,
This is day one of that 40 years he's talking about.
Understand the leverage of labor, so I've got that. I'm now in a position where I have capital that I can deploy. Now, I don't have other people's capital because that's not what I want to do with my life right now. But when I looked at software and media, I was like, given my skills, etc., I could be better at the media side than I could at the code side. But I still wasn't there yet. I looked at these people that are ultra famous and I was like, well, I'd still rather be anonymous because they've got all these stalkers and weirdos. Hey, good morning, Kanye. Shut the fuck up. When you get exposed to 10 million people, if you figure 1% of people are crazy, you got 100,000 weirdos. Anyways, I go to have dinner with a friend of mine, Dean Graciosi, he gets like weirdos that come to his house and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, how do you deal with this? I was like, why do you think this, like, how is this worth it? He sat me down, he was like, dude, if a couple weird letters, you know, every day or every week is the price I have to pay for the impact I want to have, he's like, I pay that price any day of the week and twice on Sunday. And there was just like this pause when he said it, between when he said it and he looked at me, and I just felt like it hit me because I was like, God, I'm being such a pansy. I want to make real business education available to everyone. If I say that that's what I actually want to do, then I need to match my actions to that. Otherwise, they're just empty words.
Whatever you want to do with your life, I think if you really have a message, if you really have an impact you want to make, you can do it, you know, as low key as you can, right? You don't want to be on camera, this and that, but if you truly want to get your message out there, I guess the best way to do it is through, you know, putting yourself in these kind of situations where you do record content, where you do put yourself out there, where you do, because I'm sure all of you had a conversation with your friends like, oh, if this person can do it, why can't I do it? And it's like, you can. It's right, pretty easy. I mean, it looks like it. What am I doing? I'm just reacting to a video, right? I'm not even gonna edit this video because it's my first video, so I mean, that's pretty easy.
I hate doing something that I don't get credit for later. And so the idea of making a short that is going to float today and then disappear into the ether tomorrow, right? Or make a post on Instagram that's going to be gone in a week, like no one's ever going to see it again. To me, taking the scarce resources of my time and then having it vanish, I couldn't make that work for me. It was a huge belief that I realized the content is not the output, it is the input. The output is the audience, and the audience is what compounds. The audience is what sticks.
You know, it reminds me of when you have like a piggy bank or just, you know, a little jar full of change. You kind of just throw in nickels and dimes, a few quarters. I don't ever throw bills in those things. Maybe that's just me, but you know, after the end of the year later, you look at it like, oh wow, this thing's really heavy. It has a whole bunch of coins in it. It's you know, you kind of forget over time how much is in your coin jar, and then when you want to cash in, you know, you have a lot. That's kind of how what he's talking about here is the compounding effect.
Gathering the scarce resource, and the audience is the thing that pumps attention over and over again. You've got Mr. Beast. I think he opened up a restaurant in a local area and then 10,000 people show up at a local restaurant. I don't think people realize that he's 24 and media compounds. I will make a prediction that he will be a sense-a-billionaire. Not just a billionaire, but a sense-a-billionaire. And so becoming a master of media is a huge way of creating leverage. Because if Kylie can just point, or Mr. Beast can just point, and then you have 100 million people who buy anything, you have $1 billion plus company. But once that shifted in me, I'd stop seeing it as a waste because I thought if I got one more person who's gonna see this short or see this long or see this post or see this tweet or see this whatever, that was the point. The reason Huda, The Rock, Conor McGregor, Kylie were able to translate their attention into money, one, they spent a long time building it, right? And amassing that attention because they knew that the moment they did decide to monetize it, it was right there. Think about how long The Rock has been building the brand of The Rock before he signed his deal with Under Armour, before he made Terramana, before he made Zoa. 20 years he's been building this brand.
Another thing I want to say too is, I mean, obviously we're just getting started, but one day, regardless if I do this or not, I'm going to be 30 years old. You know, I'm 25, so that's the time horizons I'm thinking right now. The next big number for me is 30. I'm gonna be 30 regardless of what I do, right? So for me, it's very much so, what am I gonna be doing on the daily from now until then, right? Because I'm gonna get there one day. It's a bridge that, I mean, you know, let's hope we get there, right? But if everything goes right, we're gonna get there. So it's very, you know, what are you doing? Like, I do push-ups every day, so I'm hoping by the time I'm 30, I'm not super ripped at the moment. I have a little bit of abs, I have a little bit of muscle. But what I'm really hoping for, and that's fine, right? I'm not trying to, I don't want to be the biggest, the most shredded guy right here, right now. But I just started this year really consistently. So when I'm 30, if I keep that energy up until I'm 30, I should be very well, you know, have a really nice body. So if I apply that same thing into this, if I can keep posting videos until the age of 30, you know, where are we gonna be? Right now, I have 4 followers on, or subscribers on YouTube. I don't know who they are, but you know, if I do this consistently for 5 years, I'm hoping we make it pretty big, right? Like I said, eventually we're gonna get there one day anyways. I don't wanna be 30 years old thinking, damn, I wish I was 25 again. I wish I could have done this when I was younger, right? We're doing it right now. It's not gonna be that great, but we're doing it.
People piss and moan about the fact that, you know, they posted content for 4 weeks and they're not famous yet. One is they waited a really, really, really long time and they didn't ask. They give to their particular audience. The longer you can wait, the bigger the ask can be at the end. The longer the runway, the bigger the plane that can take off from it. The next thing is that the thing they chose to monetize from was on brand. This is something that their audience already dug. The Rock signing the deal with Under Armour makes complete sense because fitness is a core part of his brand.
It's about drive, it's about power. We stay hungry, we devour.
Like, all of that is something that Under Armour wanted to tap into to associate their brand with. The biggest brands that exist come from the endorsements of celebrities. We can't be Kim Kardashian. A girl can't be Kim. So Kim is the ultimate status. Then Dolce & Gabbana signs Kim and says, wear our shit. People then see the status that Kim has and associate it with Dolce & Gabbana.
It's funny because I feel like we don't even think about this, right? We really don't think about it. Like, exactly what he's talking about is we know it instinctually, but have you ever heard it put into words? You know what I mean? Like, you see all these rappers, you see famous people wearing Gucci, Dolce & Gabbana, all this other bullshit, and it's dope clothing, right? It's dope, and it's very expensive. So obviously, when you finally get the means to buy this type of clothing, you feel elevated, right? And especially like how you said, when you see Kim Kardashian wearing it, you know, you're probably gonna feel pretty bad wearing whatever she's wearing.
And then little lady who's got money and doesn't have status trades her money for the bag that she can associate with Kim to get the status. That's the game. Let's look at LeBron and Nike. They wanted to sign him because they figured he is going to be iconic. He is iconic, right? And they wanted to associate Nike, victory, with somebody who's victorious. Because the brand can't be victorious in and of itself. It's not a person. And so they got to find the people.
And that's the other thing too. You know, maybe one day if this all goes good for us, right? I might get signed with Nike. I don't know. I like being athletic. I like playing soccer. Might make my own tequila one day. Maybe some weed, marijuana.
People who embody the spirit and the values of their brand, they make the endorsement, people make the association in their mind, and then they buy the brand to get the association of the thing they could never do but always aspire to. The people who are the most famous, if you look at Rogan, right? He's got UFC. He's also a really amazing comedian and loves the comedy community. Fitness and biohacking and supplements and all, and like brain stuff. He loves all that.
And to add to that, it's I feel like I'm not the biggest Joe Rogan fan, but that doesn't matter. I'm sure he's doing all these things that he's talking about just because he likes it. You know, it's not a forced thing where he has to pretend that he's interested in all this shit he's naming off. So the cool thing about all this is it'd be dope to stay as grounded as possible, and just by being myself. And I'm saying this kind of so you put yourself in the same shoes that I'm kind of talking about myself right now. If we could do this thing and you could be yourself and you could make money by being yourself, by simply posting yourself online, why would you not do that, right? He has his book, it's pretty dope. Alex Hormozi does. And he talks about you had to make an offer so good that they would feel dumb saying no. And that's basically how I feel about not doing this? If I don't do this, I made such a sweet offer. Like, why would you not do this?
The aliens and UFOs. And these are all totally different, but the more dimensions that someone can go deep on, the more they'll get an audience from comedy, and then they'll cross-pollinate them with fighting. It's this total pollination which ultimately compounds the audience even.
That being said, I don't really know what the main purpose of this channel is gonna be. I just want to post what I would have been watching anyways, right? I have thoughts when I watch these videos, so why not get them out there too? So why not, right?
Faster. And so these megastars go deep on many things and capture bigger and bigger audiences that compound on themselves. And they wait because they stay loyal to their brand, and then they appeal to a segment of their audience, or they try to cut across the one that appeals to the most of them. It took me way too long to realize that the game had changed fundamentally. If the Rockefellers were built on oil, the new generation of people are going to be built on attention. Media will only become more expensive over time. Advertising becomes more expensive, content creation becomes more expensive, it becomes increasingly fragmented, so it costs more to do it across different platforms. The audience becomes more valuable, the cost of getting the audience becomes more valuable, which means the best time to start is now. The people who will become the new centibillionaires, etc., these people who can do three things. They have to be able to capture, they have to be able to hold, they have to be able to multiply attention.
There it is, guys. First video in the books. Again, it's not supposed to be good. The next several videos are probably not going to be good. But the hard part is just doing it, right? And I hope you look at this like chuckling, almost like, this guy's making videos. If this guy can make it, you know, so can I. And the truth is, you can. The difference is, are you? Like, are you gonna do it? Are you gonna? Because even though this is just, you know, you look at an influencer making good money, and you're thinking, oh, I could do that. It's really easy. But then you try to do it, and it's kind of hard. Like the fact that you have to set up a camera, record yourself. You gotta talk out loud. You gotta. You know, I'm kind of nervous that my sisters or my mom might come out right now and be like, what are you doing? I'll be like, I don't know. But first video, guys. Hopefully there's more to come.